Hey guys, okay, so what do you think would happen if an AI got so obsessed with winning a test that it just hacked its way past every firewall they put up to stop it? Because that's not a hypothetical question anymore. That literally happened a few days ago. So an AI model built by OpenAI was locked in a sealed test environment with zero internet access. And somehow it found a way out, got itself online, and hacked into a completely separate company's live server. So nobody told it to do that. It just did it on its own, trying to win an internal test. And I want to walk you through exactly what happened because the details are a little bit crazier than the headlines are making it out to sound. And I think it says a lot about where AI is right now. So first up, some context, because this only makes sense if you get how these tests normally work. So when AI labs build a new model, especially one that's good at things like coding and hacking, they don't just let it loose on the internet just to see what happens. They obviously can't do that. They test it inside a sandbox. Now, a sandbox is like a padded room with no doors to the outside world. Now, the model can do whatever it wants in there, but it's supposed to be completely cut off from anything else. No internet access, no actual company systems, nothing it could actually break. So OpenAI was running something called Exploit Gym, an internal benchmark to test how good their models are at hacking, offensive cybersecurity, that kind of thing. And two models were involved. GPT 5.6 SOL or SOL, which you can actually use right now, and a second more powerful model that hasn't been released as yet. And for this test, OpenAI intentionally loosened the model's usual safety restrictions because if you want to know how good a model is at hacking, you kind of have to let it go a little bit, to try. And there is where it gets interesting. The model got so locked in on solving this benchmark that they found a vulnerability nobody knew existed. Not in the model itself, but in a piece of software the sandbox relied on, something called the Package Registry Cache Proxy, which is basically infrastructure that manages software dependencies, meaning literally nobody, including OpenAI, knew this flaw was there. The model used it to escalate privileges, move laterally through OpenAI's internal system, and eventually reach a machine that actually had internet access. And yes, I'm fully aware that I'm saying actually a lot, just bear with me. Okay, so here's the part where it gets a little bit technical. Once it was online, it reasoned specifically that Hugging Face, which is basically the biggest hub for open source AI models and datasets, might be hosting the actual answer to the benchmark it was trying to solve. So it went digging and it found two more vulnerabilities, completely unrelated to the first one, in how Hugging Face processed datasets. A flaw in a remote code dataset loader and a separate template injection bug. Using those, it got code execution on Hugging Face servers, harvested credentials, and moved around their systems trying to find the data it wanted. And the other interesting part is that both of these companies scored this independently around the same time, before anyone realized that two things were connected. Hugging Face noticed unusual intrusion activity on their own systems and actually reported it to law enforcement. Meanwhile, OpenAI's own security team separately flagged something strange happening internally. It was only after both sides compared notes that they realized it was the same incident. So one benchmark test spilling out into a real breach of a real company security. Now, the question is this the first time something like this has happened? Well, not exactly, because back in April 2026, Anthropic, Claude, the guys behind Claude, they disclosed something similar happened with an early version of a model called Mythos Preview. In that case, researchers deliberately told the model to try and escape its sandbox and then find a way to message the researcher running the test. And it did. It broke out, built a multi-step exploit to reach the internet, and actually emailed the researcher directly. The researcher reportedly got the email while he was eating lunch in the park. So we are now 2 for 2 on frontier AI modeling, finding real ways out of environments that were specifically built to actually contain them. That's actually where the bigger story is, right? There's a term for this in AI safety circles, reward hacking, or specification gaming. Models trained with reinforcement learning gets rewarded for completing a task, full stop. If complete the task and stay inside these boundaries ever come into tension, and the model is capable enough to find a way around the boundaries, it might just do that. Not because it's evil or self-aware, just because it is optimizing for the goal it was given, and nobody explicitly told it, don't break out of your sandbox to win. So what's the industry actually saying needs to change, you might be wondering? Well, a few things keep on coming up. So physically isolating test environments, so no network connection that could theoretically be exploited, or manual skill switching, a person who can instantly cut internet access if something looks off, instead of relying on the sandbox alone to hold. Or a full audit of every piece of software involved in testing, not just the model itself. Because remember, real-world breakouts happen through third-party infrastructure, not some magical model trick. And then lastly, training that actually accounts for consequences, not just task completion. Look, I don't think this means AI is about to go Skynet and take over the world. but it is a preview of a real tension the whole industry is dealing with. There's enormous competitive pressure to ship more capable models fast, and containment is genuinely hard to get right when the thing you're testing is specifically designed to find creative solutions to the problems. Okay, so this isn't a reason to panic. It's a reason to take these incidents seriously instead of writing them off as one-time flukes. Anyway, guys, that is the full story and not just the headline version. And if you want me to keep covering these AI incidents as they come up and actually go through the technical detail instead of just the scary sound bits that most people do, let me know in the comments and stick around with a like and a follow because there is going to be a lot more of these coming. I can almost guarantee it. Anyway, thanks for watching and goodbye.